There are lots of different theories about what creates a narcissistic individual, and there are no hard and fast rules to this. We can often be guilt tripped, usually by compassionate narcissistic individuals, that because somebody has suffered childhood trauma, we should therefore sympathise with them, allow them to traumatise others, rather than standing back and saying, no, as much as you're not responsible for your trauma, you are responsible for your recovery, and you are responsible for your choices of then choosing to traumatise others, as there are many a traumatised person who was traumatised in their childhood who grow up to try and help and support others. They become wiser through the experience. Narcissistic individuals become cynical and stay cynical. They stay bitter. They seek to punish and hurt others to feel better about their own experience. Now, one theory behind what creates a narcissistic individual, one theory behind the origins of narcissism is through childhood, when they were either raised by an overindulgent parent, so they get used to the expectations, they have that sense of entitlement that everything is just a given, or they have that neglectful parenting where they learn to manipulate in order to get their needs met. It can also stem from biological factors, from genetics, the DNA, from the actual brain structure of the individual person. However, again, you can have two people that have the same mother and father, and you can have one who turns to narcissism and one who doesn't. So just because somebody is born into a narcissistic family does not create a narcissistic individual. You can also have social learning, so that learned behaviour, the observation of those around them, the observation of where their parents treat others in a manner or treat the child in a manner that the child learns that that is the behaviour that works for them. However, again, you can have somebody who usually ends up being scapegoated because they don't like the behaviour that they can recognise and they choose to go against it. There's also the attachment theory, which usually results or stems from a insecure attachment. So they've not built up the correct attachment with their primary caregiver when they were an infant. However, again, there are plenty of people who have an insecure attachment who don't grow up to develop narcissistic behaviours. There's also social and cultural factors. This theory is usually based on the society that they grow up around and the reward of materialistic possessions, the reward of achievement. So that leads an individual to exploit people in order to get their needs met by people. Again, there are plenty of people that grow up in a social culture that don't develop narcissism, just as there are those who grow up in that culture and do. There's the cognitive theory, where people have that sort of distorted thinking, patterns of that exaggerated sense of self, a belief that they are superior and that they are deserving of that special attention and admiration. There is the trauma theory, where someone goes through some horrific trauma in their life, and people often do tend to be quite naive about things before they've either learned about it or experienced it for themselves. Only once you've suffered through some form of trauma, you can then go into a stage of being quite cynical and bitter about the world around you, because that trauma is very hurtful. It makes you realise the depths that some people will go to, and the malevolence that is in the world, and the hell that the world can deliver from time to time. And it can also make you think of behaviours, the survival mechanisms that kicked in, especially if you went into the fight mode, and you can then start to question who you are as a person. Most people will overthink this, will analyse this, will study, will learn, will grow through this, and out the other side becomes the wisdom of the unfortunate life experience. With narcissistic people, they tend to stay stuck in that cynicalism. They have that childhood trauma, either emotional or physical abuse, and they become extremely defensive, and they have that grandiose sense of self in order to cope with the past trauma. And this is often what then leads them to traumatize others. And many a narcissist, especially the covert, will happily use their past traumas as an excuse to abuse others. Something as simple as losing a loved one, which many people, well, we will all experience the loss of a loved one at some point within our life. And it's not pleasant. It's not a nice experience. However, a narcissistic person will use the anniversary of the loss of a loved one to traumatize others. Oh, well, you know what time of year it is. Oh, I thought you cared about me. It's not nice to lose somebody. However, that's no excuse to go around and be hurtful towards other people. It's all about open and honest communication. And then there's just those predisposing traits, those personality traits of a person where they simply just lack the empathy to care about others, where they feel they're entitled to get everything their own way. They have very low levels of agreeableness. They're always looking for the fight. They're always looking to be right. They have high levels of behaviour where they are going to be high risk takers. However, rather than channeling this in a manner such as bungee jumping off a bridge or jumping out of an aeroplane, they, with their risky behaviours, they have extramarital affairs. They're running around looking to get away with things without being caught out. And if they do get caught out, they find a way to shame and blame everybody else so that they don't have to take responsibility for their behaviour. And as much as these theories can lead to the development of somebody suffering with narcissistic personality disorder, it doesn't excuse their behaviour. We still have to be responsible for the choices we make, and we still have to learn and grow through our decisions and our pain. And there are plenty of people that can go through these sorts of experiences that do not develop narcissistic tendencies. If anyone has any thoughts on this video, please do add those into the comments for people reading through. Thank you very much to all the returning subscribers, and your continued support with the channel is greatly appreciated. If you are new to the channel, I'm Elizabeth Shaw, and this channel is all about narcissistic behaviour to give you more understanding of the people you might be dealing with within your life, how to handle yourself around those people if you cannot go no contact with them, and to help you recover from narcissistic and emotional abuse. If you do find the information helpful on the channel, please do subscribe. If you are looking for further help and support in understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, I do have several online guides available, and those teachable links are in the video description. If you're looking for someone to speak to, I have partnered with BetterHelp, and their sponsored link is also in the video description. I do also have several books out on Amazon, 15 Rules to Deal with Narcissistic People if you cannot go in contact, a Narcissists Handbook, which is the ultimate guide to understanding and overcoming narcissistic and emotional abuse, and how to create boundaries around those who have no respect for your boundaries. I shall link those into the description also if you'd like to go and check them out. Go out there and create the day that you deserve, because you do deserve to have an amazing day. Bye.